total solar eclipse, astronomers say, is the moon passing in front of the sun. That's what they tell us. And maybe it is sometimes, or all the time, or none of the time. I mentioned before about a video that I watched where an engineer and someone who follows biblical cosmology basically proposed that the eclipse was not the moon back in April of 2024. I'll link it in the description box. I've been thinking about this a lot lately and came across some other information that's helping me to think about what that actually could have been. Some of it I've covered in other videos, but I'm going to compile it all here in this one. It's going to sound crazy, but I'm actually basing it on how the military, the royals, the ancient Babylonians, Egyptians, other beast empire cultures, and other people who are probably part of the initiated oftentimes refer to it in other forms of media, movie, music, and album art. And here are the references by those groups that I will be going over relating to that sphere, or the eclipse, being something other than the moon. Number 1, Zeus. Number 2, a dark star or black sun or black hole sun. 3, dragon's head, dragon's tail. 4, lunar node. 5, Lucy in the sky with diamonds. 6, the Eye of Ra. So regarding Zeus, the U.S. Naval Observatory called the April 2024 eclipse Zeus. Here's a quote from the U.S. Naval Observatory website regarding that April 8th solar eclipse. Nothing there is beyond hope. Nothing can be sworn impossible, nothing wonderful, since Zeus, father of the Olympians, made night from midday, hiding the light of the shining sun, and sore fear came upon men. That's from a Greek poet. Zeus is the sky and thunder god in ancient Greek religion who rules as king of the gods on Mount Olympus. And Zeus is also synonymous with Satan. Can be. The Romans slaughtered the Galatians and defiled their temple at Pergamum with false pagan idols, including an altar to Zeus. Jesus referred to Pergamum as the throne of Satan. The next reference is the dark star or the dark energy star. I did a video titled Dark Star that outlined how the dark star is frequently depicted in album art and film. The Kingdom in Context channel gives a lot more examples of how this is depicted historically, especially in Egypt, imported from Babylon. But to summarize, the so-called scientists, or knights of scientism that I like to call them, define a dark star as a hypothetical astrophysical object, an alternative explanation for black holes, a type of superfluid or dark energy. The dark star, dark matter, is a star heated by annihilation of dark matter particles within it. And isn't that what CERN is looking for, dark matter? Or maybe the dark star. The next reference is the dragon's head and the dragon's tail. In royal heraldry, still to this day, there's a tradition called poetic designation, which originated with the ancient Babylonians. And this designation correlates colors with planets, the sun and moon, and what they call as the dragon's head and dragon's tail. And the dragon's head and dragon's tail is synonymous with the lunar node. Let's see, here is the lunar node. And the lunar node is synonymous with the 8th pseudoplanet, identified in medieval times, called the dragon. And what they believed in medieval times was the cause of solar and lunar eclipses. So in medieval times, they believed that eclipses were caused by an 8th pseudoplanet named the dragon. And this is still represented in heraldry as the dragon's head and dragon's tail, which is synonymous with the lunar node. And this is what the lunar node looks like. It looks like an eclipse. It says the lunar nodes are 2 points where the moon's orbital path crosses the ecliptic. The next reference is Lucy in the sky with diamonds. During the lunar eclipse, there's what is called a diamond ring effect. It's the bright side or spot on the lunar edge for a few seconds during a solar eclipse. I wonder if this is the meaning of the song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. We know that Lucy is Lucifer because John Lennon was a druid. Now the only lovers left alive vampire movie. I'm going to play what Eve, the vampire, says to her vampire husband, Adam.
It's a full moon. Did you know that there's a diamond up there the size of a planet? It's a white dwarf impressed high at the star. And it's not only a radiant diamond, but it also emits music of gigantic calm.
A diamond that emits the music of a gigantic gong. Where is it?
It's just 50 light years away in the constellation Centaurus.
So what she's referring to is a dark star. Centaurus, the astronomers say, is one of the closest active galaxies to Earth. They say it has a supermassive black hole at its core, which expels massive jets of matter that emits radio waves. And that must be the gong that Eve is referring to. So there you have the diamond correlated to a white dwarf, dark star, or black hole. The next reference is the Eye of Ra. The Kingdom in Context channel has a series titled 42 and another one titled Investigating Babylon. The host, Sean, believes in biblical cosmology, and he proposes in those series that the sphere depicted in ancient Babylonian and Egyptian artifacts is the home of the dragon, a type of boat in the sky, and it is the Eye of Ra. The sphere, or the Eye of Ra, is just another depiction of a same being, which can be also personified as the dragon and other things, which is interesting when you think about that in terms of the orbs that I've been covering, and also the album art that I've been covering, which will sometimes show the dragon alongside an orb or a sphere. Sean also highlights the depiction of this sphere in media, and he gives examples of it having been featured in the Commonwealth Games ceremony coming down on the Tower of Babel with the bull. And I'll link his videos in the description box of this one. I'd asked him on that live stream what he thought the sphere or boat was made of, and he didn't speculate, but I'm going to do that now. So I've been covering orbs in other videos. I'll just play a little bit of this. And it seems to me that spiritual beings are manifesting as orbs, and I've shown how they are being summoned as well. And my speculation is that perhaps the sphere is the spiritual manifestation of Lucifer. I talked to a person who says that he has information that elites do summon these orbs, and that he has also summoned them. And this is what he said. He said, "These beings," speaking of the orbs and the fallen angels in seraph form, "and their place of origin are energetic in nature. They are not carbon-based life forms like us. They exist in the same space as us, but within parts of the visual light spectrum that human eyes are not designed to observe. When humans see them, it's because they've shifted their frequency into the spirit or the physical world. They are a living energy of sorts. Their ability to tune in and out of different layers of reality accounts for most of their uncanny characteristics, such as being present while unseen, appearing as orbs of light that can traverse through solid objects, shape-shifting, and dream communications." So that actually tracks with the idea of the dark star defined by theoretical physicists as a type of superfluid or dark energy. And that also tracks with the album art of Alan Parsons, who is Order of the British Empire. He uses the Eye of Ra, or the eye in the sky, on his art, and he also uses the sphere. The lyrics to one of his songs are, "I am the eye in the sky, looking at you, I can read your mind. I am the maker of rules, dealing with fools, I can cheat you blind." Sounds like he's referring to Lucifer to me. And he has an album titled Lucifer. And this is it. He also has an album with a sphere, or an orb. And this is it. He has this one also. He has this one also, with pyramid and spheres and orbs, and the main one, it looks like coming down to the pyramid there. He also has this one, which is an Ouroboros, and that is a dragon's head and a dragon's tail. It also looks like the torque, which is the alchemical symbol for the dragon's head and tail, or the lunar node, or the 8th pseudo-planet referred to by the Babylonians and used in heraldry to this day. But the title of the album is Project Vulture, and the vulture is also associated in ancient Egypt with the Eye of Ra. So, since psychedelic drugs cause people to interact with the spirit realm, wouldn't it make sense that John Lennon, the Druid, when writing a song about a psychedelic trip, would refer to what he encountered as Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds? That song was on the Sgt. Pepper's album, the first after they murdered Paul McCartney and replaced him with Billy Shears. And remember, Eve the Vampire referred to it as the big diamond in the sky also. So whether this eclipse, sphere, Eye of Ra, dark star, Zeus, dragon's head, dragon's tail, 8th pseudoplanet, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, is something physical or interdimensional, or a spiritual manifestation or deception, is unclear for now. But in prior videos, I've shown it to probably be synonymous with the dark star, black hole sun, lunar node, or dragon's head and tail, as it was called by the ancient Babylonians, and Zeus per the Greeks, and the Eye of Ra by the ancient Egyptians. It's definitely curious that this occult concept has been carried forward throughout history by different cultures, specifically the beast empires. Apparently, ancient archaeological digs pull up spheres frequently in different cultures. It's also curious that CERN was fired up on the very day that the last eclipse, which was advertised so heavily, and that the LHC actually looks like a depiction of the lunar node or dragon's head, dragon's tail, referred to as the 8th pseudoplanet. Is that what the eclipse was? Was it summoned? And is that the type of alchemy? Or was it a deception or some sort of Carrington event? I know all this sounds very obscure, but times are changing, and maybe it's something to think about, just in case. Politics and Drumpf is where they want you to look. I was at martial arts with my son yesterday, and the instructor taught them that they should distract their opponent and make them focus on something other than where they plan to attack. In other words, if they're planning on hitting them in the face, pretend they're about to kick them instead, so the opponent looks down instead of up. In the Goddard Rail Tunnel opening ceremony, which was attended and performed for the high-level Satanists, they depicted the politicians as bobbleheads, which tells you what the real Satanists think of their puppets. It's them who are in communication with the fallen, the bloodline royal high-level witches who run things in Satan's kingdom here on earth, not the politicians. Thanks for listening.